Hey, Facebook family. Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. Welcome to Facebook Live at 5 p.m. Pacific, right? With Sergeant Dorsey. Welcome, welcome. I want to say to you as I share this on my page, I'm asking each of you to share this on your page so that others can hear what we're talking about today. I'm going to be giving you some updates with regards to some California legislation that's going on and some things that are coming with regards to advocacy on behalf of victim families in California. Specifically, the Northern California family is very active, you guys. There's been a lot going on up in Sacramento this week. And really over the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of activity in Sacramento. You know, I was up there speaking with regards to AB 392, the California Saves Lives Act that's being debated. And so on yesterday, there were some discussions being had in Sacramento with regards to another assembly bill. I think it's AB 230. AB 230 is a bill that was being put forth by opposition to 392. AB 230 is a bill that here in California, police unions, the California Police Chiefs Association, and others like that are in support of AB 230. And so there was a hearing on yesterday. And some of you may have seen it because I was not able to get up there. Actually, it was on Monday. I was not able to get up there on Monday. The hearing was held on Tuesday, and Monday, the families of the survivors of deadly police force had a public discussion, if you will, and a media event, press conference. That was the word I was looking for. I couldn't figure it out. They had a press conference on Monday, and I was trying to get up there and could not. So we went live on Skype during their press conference, and I was able to give a prepared statement relative to why it is that I support AB 230. And some of you may have seen that because I shared it with you on my timeline as it was being broadcast live from Sacramento by Aunt B. Aunt B is the wife of Uncle Bobby. That's the family of Oscar Grant, the young man that was shot and killed. I think it's been a decade ago now in the BART transit station. And so they have been very busy. I've seen them today again speaking here, there, and everywhere up in Sacramento State Capitol with regards to why AB 230 should not go forward and AB 392 should. And they were successful. From what I can read, it looks like AB 230, which the police officer's version was, look, you're going to get a bunch of cops killed, and people are not going to want to join the police department if 392 passes. So here's a better bill. Here's our bill, 230. And basically it just dealt with no accountability, right? Because that's what they want. They want to be able to just shoot and kill us with impunity and not have any consequence. And then it spoke greatly to training. You know, we just need to train more officers. Train our officers more. And so, of course, I think that that's hogwash because officers are already trained. They know what to do. They're just not doing it. And so I read, and I'll share with you that the bill, AB 230, was bypassed. And so this was a good step in terms of the activists and what they're doing up there with regards to this legislation. And so now, the way I understand it is that AB 230 was absorbed into AB 392, so to speak. And the only way even a portion of AB 230, which is what the Police Chiefs Association and police unions and fraternal orders and all of those guys, what they want is more training. And they'll only get that more training if they adopt 392. So it sounds like they're not happy for sure, because I heard my good buddy, President Ronald Lawrence up there belly aching about, you know, how officers are going to lose their lives if you make them have to think twice before pulling the trigger. If you make them have to use deadly force as a last resort rather than a first resort, somehow officers are going to lose their lives. I don't understand the rationale, but anyway, that's their story. They're sticking to it. And so the legislators up there are listening, you guys. And so for my family that lives here in California, continue to pay attention and monitor what's going on in Sacramento with AB 392. On next week, I've been invited to come and be a part of a PSA that's going to be filming with another local activist here, Kendrick Sampson. And, they're busy, they're involved, they're engaged, and that's what we need to do in order to make a change. We need to make our voices heard, and these millennials are not playing with these legislators, and these family members are not relenting. And so I'm just happy to be able to stand with them and have a little something to say from a law enforcement perspective, because it's very difficult, I think, for the families to argue with a savvy police chief about police policy, procedure, use of force, because the police will always revert to, but you've never done the job and you don't know what it is to be a police officer. And so then I step forward and I say, I know, because I did it. And I did it for 20 years and I never killed anybody. So I know that there's a way to do it, right? So we're going to continue to press on. I will continue to keep you updated as to what's going on with that. In other news, R. Kelly, he's back in the news, you guys. I guess there was a court case that went on Tuesday and today. And one of the 4 women who have alleged these new charges against him won by default because R. Kelly and his attorney did not answer the charge. So, of course, one wonders then, if you are innocent and if you understand how serious these charges are, R. Kelly, how come you and your attorney didn't show up in court yesterday or today to answer the charges, to say, I didn't do it? But anyway, they didn't. And so now this lady, and they haven't said her name, but because she's a victim of sexual assault, and so they haven't said her name. But anyway, her case will move forward because he did not show up. His attorney did not show up to respond to the lawsuit. And so at the next hearing, which is set to be, not really sure the date, I don't have it, but at the next hearing, I guess, somewhere down the line, they'll talk about dollars and cents. And they tried to contact R. Kelly's people, and they were only able to get his publicist. His name is Daryl Johnson. And so Daryl Johnson, you can't read tone into text, but what sounds like he was a little hot under the collar. And he says, we don't care about the lawsuit. That lawsuit means nothing to us. Really? You don't care about a lawsuit with 4 victims that could send him to jail forevermore, Mr. Johnson? Anyway, that was his response when he was contacted by a reporter for the Sun-Times. And I'm just thinking, we saw R. Kelly on TV said, he hadn't been to the bank ever. He didn't open his account. He didn't know about a bank account. He didn't know how much money was in the bank. He was letting other people run that. And now he's letting this guy, Daryl Johnson, be his mouthpiece. And so maybe like a new banker, he needs a new publicist, because to say that we don't care about a lawsuit and that means nothing to us is nonsensical. And that's probably why his ass is in the snare that it's in. Anyway, I see you guys coming on. Thank you for joining me, everyone that's here. And now that you're here, share this on your timeline, please, so that others can see what we're talking about. And I'm going to move on over to this viral video that's been going on. I know a lot of you have probably seen it. This is over in where? Florida, where all manner of foolishness happens. And there is a young man, 15 years old. They're not saying his name because he's a minor, but the long and the short of it is there were a whole bunch of school kids at a McDonald's. And this young kid was in the group of about 200 kids when an officer, a deputy by the name of Christopher Krikovich, and a sergeant by the name of Gregory decided to hone in on this 15-year-old kid, male black, of course, 15-year-old kid, and they sprayed him with some pepper spray. And I've never seen I don't know if it was coming out of a damn canister or what, but I've never seen pepper spray come out with such a large spray, right? they hit this kid with this pepper spray, and then they attacked him, and they took him down to the ground. And you could see one of the, I think it was the deputy, not the sergeant, but the sergeant was there and he didn't stop it, right? He supervised and he didn't stop it. But you see this deputy get on top of this kid, and he just rams this kid's head into the cement over and over and over. And so now, you know, there's a lot of controversy going on in Broward County behind this, and rightfully so. The sheriff, Gregory Tony, brother man, but you guys understand that all skin folk ain't kinfolk, right? So we're gonna have to make sure that Sheriff Gregory Tony does the right thing. And so to that extent, in a little bit, I'm going to give you some information where you can reach out and contact, because just calling internal affairs is not going to get the job done. Really, these two need to be fired. And I went on my Twitter account and I tweeted to Gregory Tony, Sheriff Gregory Tony. I tweeted to him. He has a Twitter account at Broward Sheriff is the Twitter account there in Florida for the sheriff over Broward County deputies. And I just tweeted to him my, concerns about what I saw with this use of force. And so I encourage others to do that, because remember, police departments, most large entities are publicity averse, and they do not like it when you go public. Also, there is a Facebook page that's connected with this Broward County. The mayor says that he says he has some concern. He's expressing intent at getting to the bottom of this in terms of an administrative investigation. There in Florida, the mayor of Broward County is Mark Bogan, and he too has a Facebook page. And so what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to share with you the Facebook page for the mayor in Florida. And I'm also going to give you his telephone number, which is 954-357-8053. Now, that's the telephone number for the mayor in Broward County. I don't suggest that you call him. I suggest that you reach out to the mayor on social media. Go to his Facebook page and leave a message there on his Facebook page with regards to these officers needing to be fired. And listen, I know they get due process. There needs to be an internal investigation, but we've seen the video. And so if you've seen the video, then you understand that termination must follow. So as I give you the information for the mayor, Mark Bogan, I've already put up his Facebook page. I'm also going to give you the Facebook page for the Broward County State Attorney. His name is Mike Satz, and he too is involved in this disciplinary process, or should be involved. At the very least, we need to let him know that this is going on, right? And demand that the state attorney, look into the actions of these officers. And the reason that this is so important is because, listen, these sheriffs have the support of their Sheriff's Office of Deputies Association, Sheriff's Office Deputies Association in Broward County. They have a president over there by the name of Jeff Bell, and Jeff Bell and the organization is supporting these officers. So we need to support this family and this young man. According to the president of this deputy association, he says that, these officers were following training that was implemented, and that the amount of force they used was necessary to effect the arrest of this 15-year-old kid. If you look at that video, let me see if I can't share that with you as well. If you look at that video, that kid, he's 15 years old, so he's a slight little guy. He's not very big. And to say that the amount of force that was used on him, slamming his head into the pavement, was necessary and reasonable to effect an arrest is just a straight out lie. And listen, it was what I say happens most of the time. It was punishment. Those deputies were pissed off about something, and they decided to take it out on this particular kid. Why him? I don't know, but there was nothing reasonable. There was no sense of urgency with regards to taking this kid into custody. The two of those grown men could have overpowered this 15-year-old kid, little scrawny kid, and put his hands behind his back and handcuffed him if that's what they needed to do. But the position of the union is that this is the way they're trained. And so what I want to know from Sheriff Gregory Tony, sir, is this how you train your officers? Do you train your officers to grab a 15-year-old kid, body slam him to the ground, and then smash his head repeatedly into cement? Is that what you train your officers? Because I don't think you do, Sheriff Greg Tony. I'm hoping that you will join me in asking that question. The telephone number for the county state attorney, Mike Satz over in Florida, is 954 area code 831-6955. And you can find him on Facebook. And I encourage everyone who hears my voice to do that, because we've seen what happens when we get engaged and when we get involved. We've seen officers lose their job, as in Timothy Loman, because of outside pressure. And so we certainly need to get involved here on behalf of this young man over in Broward County. And as I hear more, I will report back to you what's going on. Protesters are also demanding that if Sheriff Gregory Tony does not do the right thing and does not terminate these two deputies, that he then needs to be fired. Now, you know, he's a sheriff, so sounds to me like that's an elected position. So Broward, Black folks in Broward County, if Gregory Tony doesn't do the right thing by you with this incident, then you need to be paying attention the next time he's up for election, okay? More police officer foolishness here locally. An LAPD officer was accused of assaulting a 13-year-old girl who happened to be the daughter of a friend, a colleague. I don't know how you go to a colleague's house and molest their 13-year-old daughter, but anyway, nonetheless, 52-year-old Kenneth Collard, LAPD officer, former LAPD officer, was accused of doing just that. Now, I don't know how he came to be at this man's house and was able to sneak into the 13-year-old's bedroom and assault her sexually, but he did. And so he, Kenneth Collard, did the right thing and saved this family the pain, and this little girl the trauma of enduring a trial, and pled guilty. So on the 19th, he was given 5 years in state prison in connection with his guilty plea on 2 counts of lewd act upon a child. And he also is required now to register as a sex offender. And so I'll just share the article for anybody who may have an interest in reading it, and you can check it out for yourself. But it was really hard as a parent to read this and see what the family had to go through in court during the sentencing, because the parents of this little girl spoke out. The sister of the little girl spoke out. The little girl spoke out. She testified as to, you know, how this has affected her forevermore. And then, of course, Kenneth Collard had folks there, which he has a right to do. But I mean, really, he had his wife, his ex-wife's husband, his father all stand up and say what an amazing guy he is. And, you know, the wife said, you know, he's just the best father. And, you know, they're worried about him when he gets in prison, as they should be. But to have to sit there and listen to that foolishness when you know that this guy molested your 13-year-old daughter, and I don't know what that means. I don't know exactly what he did, but he did something, and he knows he did it because he pled guilty to it. And, you know, I applaud the colleague, the friend of his who didn't kill him, because he's a cop too. And so to have that kind of restraint and not go after this guy who's in your house assaulting your daughter, that's the ultimate betrayal. So anyway, that's what's going on here with fired LAPD officer Kenneth Collard, now convicted felon and registered sex offender. Also in California legislation news, wanted to share with you that here we have a senator by the name of Holly J. Mitchell, and she has been moving forward with some legislation with regards to women and natural hair. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, cuz. Thank you. I appreciate you. Senator Holly Mitchell has put forth some legislation that was approved 37-0, and it's called the Crown Act. And CROWN is an acronym for Creating a Respectful and Open Workplace for Natural Hair. Now, Holly Mitchell, sister girl, is a naturalista as well. And so this was clearly something that was near and dear to her heart, because she understands, the connotation, the negative connotation that goes with Black women who wear their natural hair, and how we're perceived, and sometimes how opportunities are denied to us because of it. And so this bill, the CROWN Act, SB 188, Senate Bill 188, is moving on to the next phase, 37-0 in favor of that bill. So here in California, my naturalistas, pay attention in a minute. They're not going to be able to use that as a disqualifier when you go looking for work. Also in New York, there was a similar bill enacted in February that deals with the rights of New Yorkers to maintain natural hairstyles. So this is something that is starting to, I guess, catch on and become law around the nation. So I'm going to share the link with you as well. I'm going to share this link with you as well with regards to New York and the law, just so you'll know, for those of you on the East Coast who have natural hairstyles. Because, if someone ever really discriminates against you because of your hair, it might be difficult to know unless you had somebody on the inside tell you that that's why you didn't get the job. But they should not be using that as a disqualifier going forward. So anyway, the link is there for you to check it out. Over in Grand Rapids, Michigan, they have they're having some discussion about a bill for, like Permit Patty and Barbecue Becky, whatever the silly names are they're giving to people who call the police on us when we're at the park barbecuing, or, getting water at the grocery store, or whatever stupid thing they decide to call the police. Because I've said all along that this foolishness will stop as soon as there's some accountability and some consequence for folks who call the police on us when we're doing what they do, right? My suggestion was bill them for the cost of the police services that get diverted. So in Grand Rapids, Michigan, now they're set to vote on a bias crime reporting prohibition is what it's called. And they're going to take that vote in May. So for those of you in Grand Rapids, Michigan, pay attention. If this bill becomes law for people who are calling the police on Black folks and other minorities, it says, for frivolous reasons, there will be a violation of an ordinance. It'll be a city ordinance, and you could be hit with a $500 fine. So that's what's going on right now over in Grand Rapids, Michigan. They're set to vote on it in May. So pay attention to the family over in Michigan. Okay. There's another video that is circulating right now, and this video is, this one kind of troubles me. It's a Black guy, and trying to see exactly where this is. Share the link with you. This Black guy goes into some kind of a convenience store or something, and someone calls the police on him. The first caller says, "The police are needed, come quickly. There's somebody who walked behind the counter and he has a gun." He really did have a gun. They weren't just playing this time. And so that was the first call. Then there was a second call. And the second caller said pretty much the same thing. There's a guy in here with a gun, Black guy in here with a gun. Send the police right away. So the police get there. And by the time you can take a look at the video. So when the police get there, he's outside now, and he's leaning next, or he's squatted outside of the car, and he's talking to someone seated in the passenger seat. I think it's another male Black. Can't really understand. It's not clear to me what's going on, but it is clear to me that this guy is the one who was in the store, is the one that they were calling about, and does have a gun. His name is Danquius. Ooh, these names. Danquirs is his first name. Napoleon Franklin. He was 27 years old. So you understand he's not here anymore. There was a female officer who confronted him outside of this store. He was crouched down, and he had a gun, and you can see on the video this female officer is yelling, and then she's joined by another male officer, and they're yelling for him to drop the gun, drop the gun. He's not dropping the gun. He's not pointing it at anybody either. He's just not complying is what it looks like to me. He's just kind of looking at them, and they keep yelling, drop the gun, drop the gun. And then don't you know, this female officer, her name is Carrie, Officer Carrie. It says that she perceived an immediate deadly threat. She perceived an immediate deadly threat. And so she fired 2 times, striking Mr. Franklin, and he was transported to a hospital where he died. So, you know, I know that there are a lot of people that are upset about this. You know, I don't know why he had the gun. I don't know why he went in this convenience store or whatever store it was. This was in Charlotte. That's where it is. I don't know why he went in there with the doggone gun, but you know what I don't know, but what I believe is that no jury, if charges are even brought, I don't see a prosecutor charging these officers, but if charges are brought, I promise you a jury is not going to convict when you know, you got 2 or 3 citizens calling saying there's a man with a gun in here. The police come, he's got the gun, and he won't put it down. And so you know, another example of, you know, this 27-year-old is not here now, and his family is going to be left trying to explain why he did that thing that he did, and you know, asking for some sort of redress, which I don't expect them to get. So if you're going to carry a gun and the police show up, just drop it. Just drop it. And, you know, if there's a consequence that comes with it, be prepared to take it, because if you don't, you will lose your life. And there are enough examples that show you will lose your life. Unless this young man had a death wish, I don't know. But anyway, I'll continue to monitor and see what I can find out and keep you posted as to what happens with that in Charlotte. Over in Trenton, New Jersey, FBI was investigating several officers over there for violation of civil rights. And I'm kind of excited to hear that, because with all the foolishness that's going on with the little think tank, I didn't know if the FBI was allowed to do, you know, any real investigative work. And so evidently they're doing what it is that they do, because they're professionals and they're probably career professionals and are not bothered by the day-to-day foolishness that happens with Lil Tink Tink and his crew. So they are investigating, have been investigating several current and former officers over in Trenton. And as a result of that, they made some arrests very recently. They arrested a couple of officers, one by the name of Anthony Villanueva, Mark Kiefer, and another officer whose last name, Drew Inman. All of these officers were involved in some kind of civil rights violation. And this incident happened back in April of 2017 in the arrest of someone by the name of Chauncey Washington. And I guess what happened is there was some kind of a foot pursuit, and these officers wound up catching up with Chauncey Washington at the end of this foot pursuit, and they did what officers do. You guys know what happens. They put in work, right? They beat his ass. And either they forgot that the tape was rolling, or they just didn't care because they figured that they would, you know, beat whatever charges may come against them with regards to this street justice that they gave this young person at the end of this foot pursuit. Didn't quite work out that way this time. And so now these officers, they may be former in a minute, are being indicted over in the U.S. District Court in Trenton, and both of them are facing multiple federal charges. And these charges include deprivation of rights under the color of law, also falsifying police records. So, you know, that means that, you know, when they wrote their arrest report, they lied about why they put hands on this person, and they lied about, you know, why they ultimately arrested him, probably. And if convicted, these officers are facing 10 to 20 years in prison, respectively, with a maximum fine of $250,000. But, you know, that's, you know, the big if, right? If they're convicted. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. I'll keep you posted. Also, didn't get a chance to mention, but you guys know yesterday, Tuesday, you know what happened, right? My podcast dropped. And for those of you who haven't had a chance to subscribe to my podcast, Sergeant Dorsey Speaks, I'm on iTunes, iHeart, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher, Google Podcast, pretty much every platform you can find Sergeant Dorsey Speaks. So do slide over when you're done here and check out my podcast. You will hear some stuff on there yesterday that you won't hear here. I try to, sometimes I'll repeat stories because I think it's important enough for me to try to reach as many people as I can on my 3 platforms where I'm doing this: Facebook, YouTube, and the podcast. But I try to offer a little something different on my podcast than I do on my Facebook page. And ultimately, you know, my Facebook page is going to be put up on YouTube for my YouTube subscribers. So subbies, while I don't go live with you guys, know that I love you, know that I appreciate you. And for YouTube subbies, please do check out Sergeant Dorsey Speaks podcast, subscribe, follow, and tell a friend. So that's it, you guys. I appreciate you stopping by. Anybody that's new, and I've had a lot of new followers this week, welcome. I appreciate you being here. If you want to know a little bit more about me, visit my website, www.sgtcheryldorsey.com. Check out my autobiography, The Creation of a Social Advocate, available on Amazon.com, as well as at my website. If you want a signed copy from me, you can get that only through my website. Otherwise, if you just are interested in receiving a copy of my autobiography, you can do that on Amazon.com. And my autobiography speaks to my 20 years on the Los Angeles Police Department, as well as the advocacy work that I'm doing now and the kinds of things that I share here with you weekly in terms of what I think might be helpful for you to know going forward. So hope you'll check it out. And if you're not ready to purchase just yet, it's okay. You can still go by my website and read the first chapter and get a flavor for what it is that I'm doing in my autobiography. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. And as I get ready to close here, I'm just looking to see if I have any questions or comments that I need to address before I sign off. The problem with you guys commenting to me is that sometimes there's a bit of a delay. And so I don't necessarily see if you are posing a question to me. I may not see it in time. And then, of course, it depends on the activity on the thread, how quickly it moves up. And so then I don't see it at all because I'm on to another story. But nonetheless, thank you for stopping by. I will have some more updates for you with regards to AB 392 because that thing continues to have moving parts. Next week, again, I will be doing a PSA with Kendrick Sampson. And